All right, so let's check out these videos.
If you ask a man what his main love language is, 9 times out of 10, what's he gonna say? Quickly, quickly. Physical touch. Oh, you're so smart. It's funny how we all knew that, right? I cringe every time I hear a guy say that, especially if he doesn't mention any other love languages. And not because physical touch is lesser than or it's bad or anything. No, me personally, big fan. Okay, big fan. But when they don't mention any other love language, okay, they're like, nah, that's it for me. It's basically physical touch. I fear what they are saying, what's being communicated is the only way that I feel love, the only way that I can show love, the only way I feel connected is through that physical act. The only time I'm vulnerable is during that physical act. And that really is telling me emotionally unavailable, emotionally immature. That might be a little harsh, but the reality is if you cannot connect with your romantic partner, feel connected to them outside of the physical act of intimacy, you got some work to do. Yeah, you got some skills to build. You got some unpacking to do. Yes. If you cannot be vulnerable, emotionally vulnerable outside of that, you got some work to do. Got some work to do. Yes, I know. Because a true intimate relationship is so much more than just the physicality. And if that is the only way, I'm not saying one of the ways, the only way that you can feel loved, that you can connect with another person, I fear I see trouble ahead, okay? So unfortunately, whenever a guy says, no, my only love language is physical touch, red flag. If you ask,
This is this is the issue that women don't understand men. This whole love language shit. It's women, right? It's women. It's women that make this important. It's women that pretty much make an issue, just like astrology. Uh, I don't know, fucking healing stones. All this mumbo jumbo shit. It's women who put focus on this, and when it applies to men, women can't understand the mindset, the how men talk, how men feel, how men think about it. So let's play it. Let's play this game. Okay. Love language list. Words of affirmation, showing love through verbal compliments, praise, and encouragement. Do women even encourage men? Do women even compliment men? They don't. Rarely do. Women don't say men are amazing, right? They don't, right? We get more ridicule, insults. Women don't really call men handsome or, women don't compliment men like that. So men don't find it anything special. Men don't get it, so they don't, it's not in their vocabulary in a sense, right? Receiving gifts, right? Expressing love through thoughtful and meaningful gifts that symbolize affection and appreciation. Here's the thing: women do not really give men gifts like that. They don't. Women don't really buy men anything, and they don't do it in a way that it's meaningful towards the man, right? The gifts I've gotten were like, let's say, a stuffed animal. Great. Cute. Right? It's romantic in a way. But it's not this is the thing where a lot of women's gifts, essentially it's what they would want in a way, or what they would think is a good thing. They don't get gifts for men that men want. Okay? Usually if you're giving a gift to somebody, it's for them to enjoy, not for you. But how women go about it, right? They give gifts to men that they believe is romantic, but it's not really gifts towards men. If they even give gifts to men, because a lot of times men don't experience gift giving, right? Gift receiving. A lot of times men have to give gifts. So that's another love language that really men don't experience. or women don't really give men to the point where men would want it, right? Or not in a way that men would want, right? Just like the word of affirmation, women don't really give men encouragements or, you know, say nice things to men. So, you know, what's the point in that? You know, and again, gift giving, really nothing. Okay, acts of services, right? Performing tasks or chores that are helpful and ease the other person's burden. In today's day and age, women would not even want to cook and clean for you. They call that slave labor. So why would even men expect that from you? Okay, women do not really, or at least, you know, the social zeitgeist, right? Women don't really give you that shit. Women complain about that shit. So what's the point of acts of services when women would not cook and clean for you anyway? So boom, that's another language out. And here's the thing: what quality time and physical touch. So what men think? She thinks probably physical touch is just sex, right? She thinks physical touch is just sex. But a lot of men do enjoy holding a woman, kissing her, and watching something, right? Watching a movie. In men's mind, physical touch, right, and quality time is really the same thing. It's really, you know, the two sides of this of the same coin. So, boom, that is essentially two things. But in men's mind, it's not like, oh, I had to look it up, right? I had to look it up. So, in men's mind, they don't necessarily have this list, okay, memorized, not like women. So, this is the problem with women. You want men to think like and talk like women. And that is the fucking problem. If you wanted women, you should start dating women. Stop dating men. Stop dating men. Because the thing that a man that is a man, right? He's not going to keep this shit memorized. He doesn't give a shit about this. Because here's the thing where why do men care about physical touch? Because it's one thing that women give men, right? Give men at least easily, or one thing that, you know, men know that they can get women that they would actually enjoy. I already called you the other things that, you know, women don't really give men. So what's the point of wanting them when women don't really do them and women complain about them? Okay. Like I said, acts of services, women do complain about cooking and cleaning for men. And the words of affirmation, women will insult men more than they would compliment men or praise men. So really, I'd rather not hear you talk about me, right? I'd rather not hear you talk about men because it's not going to go well. So, and receiving gifts, women do not buy shit for men. And when they do, they don't buy shit that men actually want. So, like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, that is why a lot of men would do acts of physical touch. But also, physical touch, men view it as quality time as well. It's ridiculous. These women are absolutely ridiculous. But fine. Like, let a single woman tell you what you know, things about men.
I am a woman in a military setting right now. I'm in the military. And I am, on some orders right now. And I am surrounded by only men. And let me just say this trip has completely changed my perspective on men and how I feel about them and how I've learned about them. Now,
I want to say this. That's stupid. You you're not on a trip with millions of men. Okay? You're on a trip with maybe a dozen, maybe 2 dozen men, maybe. To think that you're going to equate, let's say, 2 dozen men to men is absolutely ridiculous. Women constantly do this. Women constantly do this. You use a small pool of men and then equate, oh, this is men. No, this ain't men, right? Stop doing that shit. This is what, this is the thing where one, I have a thousands of videos, right, showing you what women are like, and I don't even say this is all women. Not every kind of example, right? Not every situation. I say all women. Okay. Uh, I definitely say women that like this. This is women like that, right? Women that I don't know, say the physical touch thing. Okay, those are those women who just think about the love language shit. Well, those are the women that are absolutely ridiculous. I wouldn't say all women or women.
The outside of a military setting, I'm just a normal person, right? I'm a nurse. Um, I would say I'm average looking in a military setting amongst testosterone driven men who don't see women or do not work with a lot of women. I am treated extremely differently here. And it has made me lose all faith in the male population. And I'm not even kidding. All of these men, okay, let's start here. There are some other women here. I'm not going to call them anything, but
I'll say this, right? Women that have lost faith in men, go lesbian or stay single. It's like I've said this before, where I will never tell a woman you need a man, you need to get married, you need to have kids. You don't. Stay single. Decenter men. Don't talk about. Don't deal with. Don't be. Try not to be around men. Because here's the thing where I find this, right? Women that think like this, women that act like this, you are, in a sense, poison. What I mean by poison is that because you are tainted by the few men you interact with, now you view all men with this lens. Essentially, you should stop dealing with men, because now that you deal with, let's say, a man that's not like this, but you have these preconceptions of what men are like, what you believe men are like, and you lost faith in men. You view men a certain way. You're negative towards men. Like the women that say, "I'll choose the bear over men." Stop dealing with men. Stop dealing with men. And not being sarcastic. I'm not being cynical, whatever. I'm saying, good, fine. Stop dealing with them. Like, stay single. Be single. Don't deal with men. Be a lesbian or just stay single. No one should force you to date men. I hope you don't. Because you will only be a miserable person. You will only be a miserable person. This is the problem where I've seen it, where, let's say, women that have been, traumatized by dating the pookies, dating the abusers, the liars, the cheaters, right? I say that these women do not qualify for good men, because they will bring those trauma onto the next man. So you are just too dangerous to be with a good man.
let's just say if a man does not find a woman attractive, I've learned that he does not fucking care anything about her. Doesn't want to talk to her, doesn't want to be near her. She could say something and he wouldn't even look her way. Okay? If he finds you attractive, different story, but even if he finds you attractive, he doesn't want to listen to you either. He just
Absolutely stupid, because women do the same thing. Are women wanting to listen to what women deem as incel men? They don't. They wouldn't want to listen to those men. Are women actually wanting to listen to fat men? Actually ugly men no, women don't. Women don't want to listen to these men. Now, what she's saying, the men that find her attractive don't want to listen to. Yeah, so it's those men. They only care about your attraction. It's like, why would you, again, paint such a broad stroke? There are good men. There are bad men. There are men that are meathead. There are men that are geek. You think every man is in the military? They're not. And again, men that will go into these forces are, in my opinion, like she said, high testosterone men. They are like men that are, would be fine geared towards violence, right? And it's fine. But again, you should know that these are a certain type of men. It's just amazing to me that women, this is what women do, right? They always gear the top 20% of men of whatever. They use those men to represent all men. It doesn't make sense, because that is idiotic.
wants to talk to you and talk about himself, thinking that he's impressing you, and it's so obvious, and he doesn't know that it's so obvious. And it's such like a natural instinct that they do, and they just like, even if they're so book smart, it's like boom, their primal instincts kick in, and they just start talking about themselves and thinking that they're impressing you because they want to get in your pants, and it's like really unfortunate. And I knew this was all true before I came here, but I am literally, when I tell you I see it every day, multiple times a day, it's making me lose a lot of hope and faith. Genuinely. I'm seeing different IQs, and it's giving primal alpha. Like, I don't know, like,
Do you not know where the fuck you are? I swear to, I think it's funny talking about different IQs, but you're literally showing such low IQ. Do you not know where you are? Do you not know where you are? Where you're at? Do you not know? You are in the military, right? In the military. Would not these men represent the whole high testosterone alpha like men? I mean, like, again, I find it like, where's your IQ at?
I really didn't think it was like this, guys. I thought that there was a hope, but there's, I don't know if there's.
You would think that you are in a chess club, right? You would think that you are in an engineering program. You are in the military. Their primary focus isn't how intelligent you are. Their primary focus is how effective of a fighting force you are. I find it really amazing what such low IQ you have. I mean, you're proving it in this. It's like, do you think you're in a chess club? Do you think you're in an engineering program, a mathematic program? What the hell are you talking about? It's like, I find it funny when women think that, okay, let me date an athlete. Oh my God, he's kind of stupid. Wow, really? I'm pretty sure your main attraction to him wasn't his intellect, right? Dating an athlete, I'm pretty sure you weren't like hoping that he's actually smart. Now, I'm not saying athletes are stupid, but again, their main attribute isn't their intelligence. I find it really amazing that women expect the men that are around them to be perfect. Oh, he needs to be fucking alpha. He also needs to be the brain of an engineer. He needs to be, I don't know, fucking like the I don't know, personality of a nice guy. Like, seriously, what the hell you think you're at?
Hope. These men are cheating on their wives, cheating on their girlfriends. Every woman that walks by, they rate them. They talk about how they'd fuck them. Every single woman. And it's like, even the ones that think, like, you think, oh, he's a good guy, or like, he doesn't talk about it, he's thinking it, and then he says it to his friends once they're out of, you know, a public situation. He'll say it to all of them, and you'll be like, oh my God, the one that I thought was actually a good guy, even though he wouldn't physically cheat on his girlfriend, he's talking about other women. Just like guy culture.
And this is why women can't handle locker room talk. Here's the thing where I'm not condoning cheating, right? That's not what I'm condoning, and that's a moral incompatibility. So, but here's the thing: men talk about women. Men want to have sex. Men are again. This is like, literally, you just said this is a high testosterone place. Guess what? Push men to be more sexual: testosterone. Right? So this is the problem with women, where women are wanting men to think like and talk like other women. Then stop going into men's fields, men's spaces. I don't understand. I have this hard time understanding why women desire to be in male spaces, and yet amazed that, okay, wow, these aren't like female spaces. No fucking duh. No duh. And the cheating part, I've done a video on women condoning cheating. So really, women are no different. Women are no different. And I've had videos of women, sexualizing men. I have women like, so really, women are no different. Women are no different, no better. But again, why are you surprised that you are in a high testosterone place, and yet also a place where all these men, this is how men talk and joke and just fuck around with each other. Okay? They're talking about sex, they're talking about women, they're talking about fantasies. Now, I don't condone men actually doing like cheating and shit like that. I'm not a supporter of that. But again, men talking about, I would love to have sex with her, or that's fucking men talk. That's just high testosterone mindset. That's just it. I find this is the problem with women, where they want men to be women. I find this is the hypocrisy. Women constantly complain, oh, where are the masculine men at? Bitch, you can't even deal with actually masculine men, right? Again, I'm not talking about the cheating part. Right? I don't view that as masculine. But being sexual, being desiring women, that's part of masculinity, right? You want women. I wouldn't call a gay man masculine, right? I wouldn't call a gay man masculine. And again, I'm not saying cheating is masculine, no. But talking about wanting women, well, that's part of the masculinity trait. You're a masculine man. You're high testosterone. You want women. Surprise, surprise. And like women complain about masculinity, yet wonder where's masculinity at. It's like, this is the problem with so many women. It's the insanity. It's the confusion. It's the hypocrisy. And here's another thing. Stop going into male spaces. Stop. Stop trying to infiltrate it. Stop trying to want to be a part of it. Stop. Because women constantly want to change shit. They want to change things up. They want things to be different. They think, oh my God, being in the military, men should be like emotionally like women. No fucking they shouldn't.
And it's mortifying, and I really don't see a light at the end of the tunnel, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
Go to an engineer school, right? Go to an engineering program. I'm pretty sure they'd be kind of different, right? Or go to a chess club, right? I'm pretty sure they would be a bit different, kind of different. It's like, again, I'm not saying that geeks aren't, wouldn't sexualize women, but, I would think it'd still be kind of a different environment. But I said what I said. I think women is just really tiring, where they want men to be like women, right? They want men to be like women. I'm not condoning cheating, but again, men talking about women, men wanting to have sex with women, men fantasizing and talking about fantasies about women isn't a red flag.
Why do women get the ick when men are vulnerable? I've found that what women really want is a guy who will connect with them, who will ask them how their day was, who will sit and talk to them about the drama with their sister. But they also feel more comfortable and safer because the guy's really strong. And once they feel like there's cracks in that armor and that the guy actually has vulnerability and has some weaknesses and isn't as strong, then the woman feels less safe in the relationship. And so I think that this is such a hard paradox where men are asked to be vulnerable, but what many women mean is be emotionally intelligent towards my issues, but don't open up about yours.
See that first part? Studies have shown that men are actually decreasing in testosterone, right? You don't see all men going into the military. No. Actually, the numbers in the military is actually shrinking, right? Less and less men are applying to be in the military. So less and less men are actually violent or very lustful in nature. testosterone is shrinking in men, right? So this is what men are actually changing, adapting because of women's talk. But you see the insanity that women find emotional men an ick, right? I honestly believe a lot of women find highly emotional men an ick. And I say highly because here's the thing. You can't control it, right? You can't control it. It's either he's emotional or he's not, or he's emotionally expressive or he's not. You can't control it. Oh, I want him to be just this much emotional. Not, not this much, not less emotional. No, you can't control how emotional you can be, right? It's just, it happens when it happens, right? The floodgates open when it opens. You don't just like, oh, you know what? How about just trickle it, right? No, that's the insanity of women. But again, that is the hypocrisy or the delusion or confusion that women put out, right? One woman say, oh man, these men are misogynistic, or these men are just too alpha masculine and crazy, whatever. But you know what? I want a man to be more emotional. Like, okay.
Something that I've heard from a lot of men, and I think until recently I didn't really understand it. Just a backstory about me, I'm a bi woman, and so my experience dating has always been queer. And so even dating men, I'm dating men as a queer woman, and I don't feel like I've ever made a man uphold a very rigid standard of masculinity. And so when I've heard this in the past about how women don't want men to be emotionally vulnerable, I was taking it from my own experiences, where the times that I haven't been so welcoming to men showing emotional vulnerability was when I felt like it was coupled with rage and anger, and also saying things to me that made me feel devalued in the relationship. And so that was the perspective that I was coming from. But I didn't realize, being a queer woman, that there is this whole other perspective where men have genuinely tried to show their vulnerability and emotions, and it gets weaponized against them. And so I want to talk about that right now. I spent some time researching this. I was on Reddit. I was reading the Ask Men forums. I asked you guys for some of your examples, and some of the examples I got of how this happened was shocking to me. The most common scenario.
Because, I want to talk about this, right? What she's talking about, the rage and anger thing. Women express rage and anger too. And in my opinion, it's allowed. Now, here's the thing. Here's the double standards or the insanity of the world. Men are not, right? Men are not. It's okay for women to be angry, right? To show rage, but men are not allowed. And I get it, right? Because here's the thing. This is why I've said men being stoic is better. Because when you're emotional, you can't control how that emotion comes out. That's emotion. That's being emotional. That's allowing emotional freedom. Because here's the thing. 70% of one-way domestic violence is committed by women against men. 70% of one-way domestic violence. 70%. It's a fact. Google it, okay? I love this. I love that stat because not many people talk about it. But that right there is a correlation where women are allowed to be angry, to show rage. And women do show it. Men have to accept it. But God forbid a man shows it. It's like too much, right? It's like whatever. But this thing where men know that he cannot show his emotions. He's not allowed to, because here's the thing. You can't control it, right? In arguments or in conversation, whatever, it's hard to control emotions. So most men, they stay stoic. Most men, they shut down. Because for men, there's a double standard of men come with strength. So men know that, you know what? I cannot show my anger. I cannot show my rage because I don't want to cross that line. Right? I don't want to cross that line where that rage, that anger can come with strength. And women are allowed, right? Because women do abuse men, right? 70%. But it's just because it doesn't result in actual or really visible harm. Like he's not a broken orbital or a broken bone or, big bruises like that. Some scratches, maybe some bruises, whatever. Men deal with it.
I've read about this happening is that a man will open up to his female partner about something that is making him feel sad or weak, and all he's really looking for is somebody to listen to him and to provide him just some emotional support. But instead, their female partner will start to cry or start to have some sort of panic attack, and in turn, it'll lead to him basically comforting her for the initial problem that he was dealing with that he needed comfort for. And so it leads to a situation where a lot of men will try to open up about problems that they're currently dealing with and that they really need some emotional support for. And in turn, it just continuously leads to them ending up making their female partner feel better for an initial problem that they needed support on. It would be met with their female partner turning it around on herself and centering herself in the experience and being like, well, you opening up about all of these big things in your life makes me feel panicked, makes me feel insecure, makes me feel sad. And so now it's your job to comfort me when you initially needed comfort in the first place. The other biggest thing that I've read from a lot of men and heard is that they will...
I've dealt with that, right? Having a conversation with an ex, right? A girlfriend, talking about my feelings. And then all of a sudden she cries or get angry and talks about her feelings. It's like, because I get so annoyed when women cry. I back down, right? I was like, fine. I forget about what I said, or you win, shit like that. I give up, right? It happens to me so many times. So
be in a relationship and their female partner will initially comfort them and tell them to open up and offer support, and then later those same things that the man opened up to her about and was vulnerable to her about will later be weaponized against him in an argument. Some of the examples that I've heard, a man opened up to his girlfriend about his grandma passing, and he was very sad about it and he was crying to her, and she kind of offered him support, and then later on when they were in an argument, she said, well, you know, your grandma would never be proud of you. Like, how terrible. How terrible is that? Another example I read was this man was going through really hard financial difficulties, and he was looking to his girlfriends for support, and she was supportive towards him. And then later on in an argument, she was just like, well, how do you expect me to get sexually turned on by you if you're just a crybaby P word? Like, that is so awful to say to a human being. I've also read many examples of men being in relationships where when they started to show some vulnerability or talk about their emotions, their girlfriend or their female partner would just straight up call them the F slur. They would just call them gay and say, why are you talking about your emotions? You're so gay.
And this is the thing where you might not think about this. It might correlate with the other video, right? With the woman talking about the military. Some men will rather you call him misogynistic, or she call him an alpha, right? Or, you know, these men that like are toxic. Men rather do that than you weaponize, right? I mean, like, you can't really weaponize, oh, he's talking about sex. He's talking about wanting to have sex with women. Okay, fine, whatever. I mean, like, it's not necessarily a weapon, okay? But you can weaponize this when he talks about when he's emotionally vulnerable. So some men rather be, okay, view me as toxic. Okay, great. I mean, view me as misogynistic, whatever. But to use these like the gay, that's more of a weapon than calling a man misogynistic, right? To use his emotional vulnerabilities, his emotional fears or whatever against him, men rather you not do that. So,
or the F slur. I'm sure that there are many more examples, but I just want to say to the men that are watching this, I'm so sorry that you've had to endure that. Genuinely, I did not know that this was something that was so common because, like I said, I'm a queer woman. Most of my friends are queer, and so we don't hold the same sort of like rigid gender roles for the men that we date, and I really did not know how common of a thing that this was. And while I know that I'm only one person, and hopefully eventually some of my videos can maybe reach the audience that it needs to, I do just want to say that I do hear you, and I am here to show solidarity and support. So I just wanted to make this video to kind of spread awareness and to basically say that I'm sorry. I didn't realize when I made the last video kind of what you guys were referring to when you said that, but I am definitely a lot more informed now. I will see you guys in the next video.
That's amazing. I'll give her credit. I give a woman credit where credit's due. Showing some accountability for her words, and being empathetic, sympathetic, right, to men. Being in men's shoes. I'll give her credit.
He literally just said to me he doesn't know how to compliment me, or why he doesn't compliment me, because he doesn't know why his brain does that. Why his brain doesn't tell him to compliment his wife. I have been asking, I can't even tell you how long, just for like acknowledgement. And sometimes when I go to events or weddings, any event that I dress up and look like a decent person, just for any sort of acknowledgement. And I swear to you, it is like super hard to get that from my husband sometimes. And it's always sometimes at the end, at the night, after I'm in my pajamas, I take off my makeup, always after the fact. And I literally asked, why are you like that? This man looked at me in the face and was like, I don't know why my brain's like that. I don't know. So what are your thoughts? He literally...
My thought is you're a stupid girl. You literally said for the longest time, so you knew what type of man this was. You knew what he was like. This is the problem I'm saying. Women purposely ignore red flags. Now, if that's a red flag to you, okay, you fucking ignore it. Stop wanting men to change. Stop wanting men to act like how you want him to act. Stop it. You married him. You dated him, right? You didn't say no during the date, right? You didn't say no during the relationship. You didn't say no during the engagement. You didn't say no during the wedding, during the marriage. You didn't say no, right? You didn't leave him. This is what he was like. I hate this shit up, right? I really hate it where women think men lie, men switch up. They don't. At least not in general, in my opinion. It's just that women ignore red flags until they can't ignore it anymore, right? Women ignore red flags until they can't ignore it anymore, until it's a nagging feeling, until they're just tired of it. But that's the problem. You should never ignore it. If it was a big issue to you, you should have left him after, I don't know, 3-5 months into the relationship. You should have left him after maybe a year into a relationship. You should have left it. But now that you married to him, you know who he was fucking, you know what type of man he was. That's who he is. This is the problem. Stop wanting men to change. Stop wanting to rewire his brain. He said it. That's who he is. And you literally said, for the longest time, that's who he was. So I guarantee you he was like that even before you married him. Stop wanting men to change. Stop wanting men to act like a woman or act like how you want him to act. Accept him for who he is or don't. But the insanity is that you accepted him, right? Up until now you're married. And this is a problem with so many women. This is maybe like a controversial thing where I believe why 70% of divorces are filed by women because of shit like this. For years, for all our marriage, for all of our relationship, he never complimented me. He never said word of affirmations like I want him. That's why I'm divorcing him. Bitch, you knew already. You knew what he was fucking like. And you married him. You put like this man, most likely he loved you, right? Even though he can't express his love how you want him to express it, but he does love you. He just doesn't love you how you want him to be loved. But if that's true, you should have never gotten this far with him. So you let a man commit to you for such a long amount. He put so much into you, into this relationship, and then you leave him because he didn't love you how you want him to love you. Well, you should have left him when you guys were just dating. You should have left him then. You're wasting his time. You're wasting your fucking time. This is the problem with so many women. Stop wanting men to change. Pick a man that will fall into what you want. Don't pick men that you find maybe attractive or he has certain qualities that you like, but he doesn't have other qualities that you actually want more, right? If words of affirmation is what you really want from a man, find a man that did that. But you didn't, right? You didn't. You picked this man for whatever qualities you picked him. Then you should appreciate those qualities. You married him for a reason, right? You didn't marry him because his words of affirmation. You didn't. So stop thinking about that shit. This is the problem with so many women. They want fucking perfect men. They want men to act how they want them to act, do what they want them to do, right? It's like, think like what they want them to think. Stop it with that bullshit. This is why men are like tired of this shit. Men see this shit like, you are here, right? Complaining about your fucking husband. Right? You're here online complaining about your husband, and then you get, what, thousands of women, right? Now shitting on your husband. Shitting on your husband, probably telling you to divorce him, telling you to leave him, right? It's like, are you fucking kidding me? So you're disrespecting your husband while pretty much saying things that you hate about your husband. While you already knew the shit about him. This is why I'm fucking like, it's tiring. It really is tiring with a lot of these women. It's insane. These women are tiring. This is why I've said this. Just don't date men, right? Don't date men. Decenter yourself from men. Be single for the rest of life. Because this is why I said, I don't mean it sarcastically, right? I'm not joking. Leave men alone then. Leave men alone. Because shit like this, I guarantee you, leads to the divorce. That's it. And leads to her divorcing him. Her breaking his heart. And then her complaining, her being sad, right, about it. Bitch, you're sad? You're the one who's divorcing him. You're the one who's breaking up with him. You're the one wasting his time. It's fucking tiring. It really is. This is why I said, just be alone then, right? If you can't love the husband you chose the way he is, you should have never gotten with him. Ridiculous. What do you guys think?